Cover the main trail right now first.
Hear yells calling for help. We're hiking down.
10-4, we're hearing them too towards the end of the lower part of the Devil's Den Trail. Try to relay to the office that we found the victims down here. They're on the lower Devil's Den Trail. I've got two bodies down here.
We begin tonight with breaking news out of Devil's Den State Park, where Arkansas State Police are investigating a double homicide. A man and a woman were found dead on the trail this afternoon, and tonight a search is underway for their alleged killer. 5 News has confirmed ASP's Criminal Investigation Division is leading the case, and a heavy law enforcement presence remains at the state park as the investigation continues. The suspect in the double homicide is described as a white man of an unknown age, last seen wearing dark-colored shorts, a dark tank top, and weightlifting-type gloves. Witnesses say he was driving toward a park exit at Devil's Den in a black 4-door sedan, possibly a Mazda, with a license plate covered up by duct or electrical tape. 5 News reporter Bo Russell was the first on the scene today, and he joins us now with the latest and what investigators are looking for. Bo.
Lauren, yeah, I've been here since about 4:35 this afternoon, but let me give you a little bit of context why we're in the Storm Chaser right now. Now, we're here at the entrance to Devil's Den State Park. This is what it looks like with our massive lights on, but this is what it looks like when the lights are off. Right, and so it is really dark and remote out here, and we just didn't feel safe outside because, as per the report from authorities, a suspect, they're still looking for one. So that's why we're inside. A little more on what I've been seeing today here on the ground. When I got here, we're up here in the mountains. It's once you're in Devil's Den State Park, there's almost no service. It's really hard to get information in or out, and so I came to decipher what was going on. I saw a large law enforcement presence when I got here, and so I spoke with some of the campers. I was asking what's going on, and there were all sorts of theories being thrown around, but something that isn't a theory is that campers have felt very unsafe.
So we've been here all day. We're from Texas, so we came in for the weekend, and we came up here and there are cop cars all around there, and we're a little concerned, and we went up to the visitor center because we're trying to get some merch, some stickers, and they said that they couldn't say anything, but that everything was closed for an emergency. We then went over by, it was a creek trail of some sort, and a park ranger said that they had an active scene, but she didn't say anything else.
Right, and so we're gonna, as more information comes out, we're gonna learn more about what's happening here. We'll continue to bring you those details. I'll be here in Devil's Den, bringing you the latest as we learn more. For now, live in Devil's Den, covering news where you live, I'm Bo Russell, 5 News.
Thanks, Bo. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders released a statement today to give her reaction to the tragedy at Devil's Den, saying, quote, we're praying for the families and friends of the victims and know that law enforcement will not rest until the perpetrator is brought to justice. Well, turning now to the forecast, 5 News forecaster Joshua Weisel is in the Weather Center. And Joshua, is there any chance the hot temperatures go away anytime soon?
Well, then, unfortunately, it looks like they're here to stay. However, there was some good news for some parts of the area today, especially to the south and east. Logan, Scott, and even portions of Sebastian County did see some cooler temperatures with some rainfall earlier this afternoon. But right now, things are starting to quiet down. So we can't rule out a stray shower or thunderstorm over the next several hours, but some areas did see some cooler temperatures today. The rest of us that didn't see rain, well, still pretty warm out there. Feels like 93 in Bentonville. Let's take a look at Fort Smith. Feels like 92. So even though it is past sunset, it's just one of those nights where even after sunset, it is still quite hot out there across the region. Here's a look at those actual air temperatures, and you can see Waldron 75 thanks to that rain-cooled air compared to the rest of the area in the 80s. And those feels like temperatures are still well below the other areas that did not see rain today, still in the 90s at 10 o'clock. So we'll have more details on that coming up, maybe more rain chances and maybe some relief on the horizon as well coming up.
All right, thanks, Joshua. Back to school is upon us, and there's a new twist to the 3 R's: reading, writing, and rising prices. CBS's Ali Bauman is in New York tonight with more on the rush to buy school supplies.
A little bit more than I expected, but what can you do?
Frank Hernandez is prepared to go over budget.
What about that one?
On his daughter's backpacks and notebooks this year.
Everything has gone up. I look at it like I just got to work harder.
He hopes the early bird gets the better deal.
No?
Do you normally do back-to-school shopping in July?
No, but they usually have the best deals at that time.
A survey by the National Retail Federation found 67% of back-to-school shoppers started buying supplies, clothes, and electronics the first week of July, up from 55% last year. More than half are concerned about looming tariffs and inflation that ticked up in June. 3/4 are expecting higher prices.
Most consumers who say they're shopping early say it's because they're worried that prices will be more expensive later on in the year.
Catherine Cullen with the National Retail Federation.
And they're trying to behave rationally when at times there's just a lot of unknowns happening.
Walmart says they're able to keep prices similar to last year because they bought and shipped a majority of inventory in bulk ahead of tariffs. Shoppers say hitting the stores early allows them to compare prices.
We're shopping where we can afford. At this point, I have to focus on what the prices actually are and make sure that I plan and budget accordingly.
And Target also says its back-to-school prices are, for the most part, the same as last year. But in a sign of the times, the retailer is ending its 12-year-old policy and will no longer match prices to identical products sold by Amazon or Walmart. That starts Monday. Allie Bauman, CBS News, New York.
Well, today, thousands of families flooded the Arvesta baseball stadium, but not for a game. The Samaritan Community Center hosted their 5th annual backpack giveaway event with over 3,000 backpacks given out to families in need. The bags are separated by age group with a new school with supplies to match their needs. Debbie Rambo with the Samaritan Community Center says in the last year, demand has grown for their services, and the group is happy to be able to help these families.
I think there's a lot of uncertainty, and this is just a great way to really give parents a relief. I think they're as excited and as happy as the kids are because
the event was closed and not open to the public, with tickets given out earlier this summer. The remaining 1,000 backpacks will be dispersed to schools in the area with the highest poverty levels in the region. Well, today in Oklahoma, communities came together to show their support for the families impacted by the July 2nd firework explosion in Tuskahoma. The explosion killed a man and put 2 others in the hospital. Eli Smith, a 22-year-old from Oklahoma, died as a result of the accident. Cash Collins and Brad Llewellyn are still recovering. Today, communities from all around the Sallisaw area came together to raise money for their families to help with things like care and medical bills. Vianne's high school football team showed their support for Cash and all the families affected. They say this kind of support is one of the blessings that comes from small communities.
He was like a brother to us, and he just graduated, straight off our state championship. So when everybody heard about the team was crushed,
This community supports each other. Anytime there's a tragedy of any kind, this community comes, and it's all across Oklahoma.
Today's event had a barbecue, a silent auction, and a bake sale, with all proceeds split evenly between the families affected. Well, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says about 100 people previously detained at the Florida detention center known as Alligator Alcatraz have been deported. New aerial video shows the sprawling Florida-run detention center built on an airstrip in the Everglades. A CBS poll this week finds out a majority of Americans are opposed to the way the Trump administration is using detention centers. CBS's Nicole Killian reports on the bipartisan effort to fix the problem.
Leave them alone! Scenes like these of immigration enforcement operations around the country.
You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Make Callie concerned about her family's safety.
If my husband, were caught up in, say, a work raid or just a, neighborhood ICE action, we would leave the country.
She only wanted to give us her first name because she is married to an undocumented immigrant.
Dignity is not amnesty.
She joined a bipartisan group of lawmakers on Capitol Hill as they reintroduced the Dignity Act to allow certain undocumented immigrants a chance to earn legal status. It's sponsored by Florida Republican Maria Salazar and Texas Democrat Veronica Escobar.
This is the moment to start the national conversation as to what are we going to do with 10 million plus people who do not have a criminal record, have been here for decades, and they're helping construction, hospitality, and agricultural.
Our country needs immigrants. We recognize that folks want strong border security and they want a measured approach, and that's what this bill does.
The The measure would establish a dignity program to grant legal status on a renewable basis to undocumented immigrants who have lived in the United States for at least 5 years. In turn, they'd have to pass a criminal background check, pay back taxes, and submit $7,000 in restitution. But they would not be eligible for federal benefits or entitlements.
What would legal status mean for your loved one?
Legal status would mean freedom for us. We love this country.
The bill would also make upgrades at the border, cut visa backlogs, and reform the asylum process. About 20 Republicans and Democrats have signed on to the legislation and hope that it can get a vote in this Congress. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.